Thank you very much, Paul. Right now, joining us on the phone is Mick Mills, and we're talking about St John's Ambulance. Welcome back to the programme. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thanks, Phil. Bit of a cough and a cold, but apart from that, yeah, quite fine, thanks.
What are you going to be talking to us about today?
I thought it'd be a good idea this time just to talk about first aid kits, really. This is something that's probably close to most people's heart because we've all got one. And it's interesting that the BSI, the British Standards Institute, have actually brought out a standard for first aid kits, and this is fairly recent in the last few months. And it's part of the problem. I don't know if this has happened to you, Phil. You cut your finger, you run up the stairs to the first aid kit, which is in the bathroom somewhere, open the cabinet, open the box, and it's got nothing in it that you can possibly use.
Well, it's because this is just my opinion, but not because it's run out, but because they fill them with things that are no good. That's how I see it. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely right. Now, this is the problem. I mean, I thought I'd do a test. I looked at my own, and we've got stuff in there dating back donkey's years. You know, probably not sterile anymore. We've got all of the stuff that we probably never need. And you're absolutely right about what manufacturers do. You know, don't be surprised to find a first aid kit supplied from a manufacturer of plasters, for example, to have it full of plasters.
Yeah, so, have you ever bought one of these ones for travelling in Europe? You have to have one in some countries. I think Spain's one of the countries. You buy a standard one that, you know, you buy from the ferry or from some other shop or whatever that deals with it. And you open it up and it's full of bandages. Now, that may be useful in some cases, but there are no plasters in there. There's nothing but bandages.
I know.
And it's completely and utterly useless, in my opinion.
Yeah, and sadly,
crazy.
It's not just confined to personal use. This happens in the workplace as well, which is why the BSI have thought, well, we better bring out something standard for the workplace.
What do you think we need in such a package? What would you put in it?
Well, the standard actually does recommend things like low allergy plasters, because that's suitable for everybody.
Yeah.
Dressings for wounds. These are things like a pad and a bandage that for people who can't have a plaster.
Yeah, so you do need some of those then, yeah.
Yeah, so you do need some of those. You probably need some cleansing wipes because you need to clean a wound. You always need tape, you know, because you need to hold something onto something, so you always tape. But useful things, new things that have come in recently, burn dressings, for example. You know, small burn dressings. So you burn your hand, you stick it under the tap for a bit, hold it there. Oh, that's better. Take it away from the tap. It still hurts, doesn't it? Burn dressings actually have chemical cooling stuff in them, so that actually does help.
What about any sprays, or would we be steering clear of those?
The advice really is, don't put anything in your first aid kit that could be abused by children.
Oh, I see, yes,
so if you want your kids to have access to first aid equipment when you're not there, then generally don't put any drugs of any sort in there. Keep all sprays and lotions and pills and everything out somewhere else under possibly a bit better security.
Yeah, I was just thinking of the spray that does the freezing effect, which is often sometimes useful for certain pains. But
bites and stings and cold spray you're talking about.
Indeed, yeah.
You know, lots of people use that stuff. Some people do seem to have an allergy to it.
So you've got to watch it, haven't
you? You know, so long as you know what's okay for your kids and your family, you know, that's fine. But remember, when you're going to use something on people you don't know, you know.
Is that any good on burns, or is that a no-no on burns?
Well, not really, no, because that spray sometimes contains bacteria. It's not sterile. Is the problem. Oh, I see, right. Yeah. So the recommendation for burns is really just wash it under cold water, keep it cool, and cover it. And if it's a big burn, if it blisters up, you know, you really probably need to get it looked at, really, for, you know, because it'll get infected. And the other thing is, of course, is scarring. You know, you don't want to scar later on, so get it sorted out, really. Burns on the face, burns on the hands and feet. I'm not talking about little finger burns, you know. You know, a good-sized burn on the hand, good-sized burn on the feet, burns anywhere, really, that blister, really get it looked at. It's always a good idea.
All right.
But other stuff that might be useful in your first aid kit is something as simple as a plastic bag.
Yeah.
And strangely, the BSI don't recommend it, but they don't tell you not to have it, but it's not on their list. But a plastic bag, you know, the kind of freezer bag that you might put.
Yeah, I can see how that would be useful. Yeah,
really, really useful. For example, if you did burn yourself, you could put water in it and put your hand in it, couldn't you?
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Yeah. People can be sick in it. You can, you know, I mean, we're talking about a clean bag now. You know, you can put things in it. I mean, the worst case, you cut something off, you can put it in there, can't you? You know.
Getting gruesome here now.
Yeah, it is a bit gruesome, isn't it? But really, a plastic bag is really useful. You can even use it as a makeshift pair of gloves.
Well, look, Mick, this sounds like you've got some great ideas. Is it sort of going forward then, this sort of message to the manufacturers?
Yes, but it is. In fact, the BSI have produced this for manufacturers, really, to say to them, look, guys, you know, we know, you know, you want to put your own products in, but in the workplace especially, where it's really important, you know, people's lives could be at risk here if you don't have the right stuff in.
I'd have thought there should have been a standard, especially for a car one. Perhaps there is, I don't know, but it doesn't seem like they got it right to me.
I don't think there is. Yeah. I think the BSI need to go a bit further. I think I'd like to see this go into personal use. But at least it's a way forward. For a long time now, the Health and Safety Executive have been given guidance on what you should have in a first aid kit at work by saying, do a risk assessment. If you've got problems with dust and stuff like that, then have eye wash, for example.
Yeah.
So things like that are quite useful. But certainly think about putting a pen and paper in your first aid kit at home. You never know when you're going to have to write something down for the ambulance service. If you've got a pen and paper in your first aid kit, you've got it there ready. It's really, really handy.
Right, some great advice there. Thank you very much for telling us all about that.
Please do.
And we'll be chatting again in a few weeks' time, I'm sure.
That's great.
Thank you very much, Mick Mills.
Thanks. Bye.